Good evening, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something we all feel but rarely discuss openly: emotional vulnerability in relationships. Now, the word vulnerability might immediately bring to mind the idea of weakness, but I want to challenge that notion today. Because true vulnerability, especially in a relationship, is one of the bravest acts a person can commit to. Think about it. When you're emotionally vulnerable, you're not just sharing your likes or dislikes or your favorite food or color. You're sharing your fears, your wounds, your deepest truths, and most importantly, your hopes. You're saying to someone, "This is who I am, and I hope you will still choose me." That takes courage. So what is emotional vulnerability? At its core, it is the ability to express your authentic self without the guarantee of being accepted. It's when you let your guard down. It's the moment when you're honest about your feelings, whether those feelings are love, sadness, anger, or fear. When you're emotionally vulnerable, you're willing to be affected. You allow someone to enter your emotional world, knowing full well they could hurt you, but you're still willing to let them in. Now, why is that important in relationships? Because intimacy cannot exist without vulnerability. Think of the strongest relationships you know. What makes them strong isn't that the people never argue. It's that when they do argue, they still feel safe enough to talk about how they really feel. They don't just hide behind silence or sarcasm or pride. They're willing to say, "That hurt me." They're willing to say, "I love you even though we're struggling right now." They're willing to say, "I'm scared you'll leave, but I need to be honest." These moments, these deeply vulnerable moments, are the threads that hold relationships together. Without them, we're just two people playing roles, not truly connecting. Let's talk a little bit about why we avoid vulnerability. For many of us, emotional vulnerability is scary because it reminds us of times when we were hurt. Maybe in the past, you opened up to someone, and they used your honesty against you. Maybe you expressed a need, and it was mocked. Or maybe you were taught to suppress emotions growing up, to be strong by hiding how you feel. If that's the case, then vulnerability doesn't feel safe. It feels like walking into a battlefield unarmed. But I want you to consider this. The problem is not vulnerability. It's the people who didn't honor it. The real strength comes not in hiding your emotions, but in choosing when, where, and with whom to share them. Emotional vulnerability is not about oversharing with everyone. It's about being real with the right people. Let's move to a powerful idea in psychology, something called attachment theory. According to this theory, the way we were cared for as children shapes how we relate to others in adult relationships. Some people grow up feeling secure in expressing emotions. Others become anxious, fearing abandonment. And some develop avoidance. They distance themselves when things get too emotionally intense. Understanding your own emotional patterns can help you navigate vulnerability better. For example, if you're someone who tends to shut down in conflict, ask yourself, is this because I fear being seen as weak? Or because I was taught that emotions make things worse? Awareness is the first step toward healing. Now, let's talk about how to be vulnerable in a relationship without feeling exposed or unsafe. Step 1 is learning to name your emotions. You can't share what you don't understand. Are you feeling rejected, unseen, ashamed, lonely? The more precise you are, the more clearly your partner can respond. Step 2 is choosing the right moment and tone. Vulnerability is not a weapon. It's not something we throw at someone during a heated fight. It's best expressed in moments of connection or calm. For example, instead of saying, "You never care about me," try saying, "I felt lonely when you didn't call yesterday. It made me question if I still matter to you." Can you feel the difference? The first one blames, the second one reveals. Step 3 is knowing your own boundaries. Vulnerability doesn't mean allowing emotional harm. You can be open and still protect your sense of self. You can say, "I want to understand you, but I won't tolerate disrespect. That too is a form of emotional honesty. Now here's something important. You can't demand vulnerability from someone who hasn't built emotional safety. It takes time, it takes consistency. It takes the kind of love that says, you are safe here. Even in your messy, emotional moments, you are still loved. And this goes both ways. When someone opens up to you, honor that. Don't fix, don't judge, don't analyze. Just listen. Just hold space. Let me share something personal. At some point in your life, maybe you felt you had to be strong all the time. You had to hold it all together because if you fell apart, everything around you would crumble. But strength isn't in how much we carry. It's in knowing when to put things down and who to lean on. Real love, healthy, mature love, allows that. Let's talk briefly about emotional availability. It is directly tied to vulnerability. If you are emotionally available, it means you can talk about how you feel. You can handle hearing someone else's truth. You don't run from emotional intensity. You sit with it. You make room for it. Unfortunately, many relationships fail not because of a lack of love, but because one or both people are emotionally unavailable. They can't or won't open up. They build walls instead of bridges. So how do we change that? We start by creating relationships where it's okay to not have all the answers, where crying isn't seen as weak, where admitting you're scared doesn't make you less of a man or less of a woman. We begin by modeling it ourselves. When you say to your partner, "I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying," you give them permission to do the same. When you say, "I'm feeling disconnected, can we talk?" you create a space for reconnection. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you practice vulnerability, the more it becomes a strength. You begin to feel freer, not weaker. You begin to attract people who value depth. You stop settling for surface-level love. Because let's be honest, surface love will never fulfill a soul that craves emotional connection. So what do we take away from all this? 1. Vulnerability is not weakness. 2. Emotional honesty builds trust. 3. Boundaries and vulnerability go hand in hand. 4. Emotional safety is essential for connection. 5. You are worthy of being seen, fully and without fear. In closing, I want to leave you with this. The most powerful relationships are not those where everything is perfect. They are the ones where both people are willing to show up, imperfect, afraid, healing, and still choose each other again and again. Vulnerability is how love breathes. Without it, love suffocates. So open your heart, not recklessly, not to everyone, but to those who have earned your trust. Let them see you, because real love can only find you when you're willing to be seen. Thank you.